I am sitting in my childhood bedroom right now, staring at the invitation that just arrived in my mailbox. Gold embossed letters, expensive cardstock, my sister's name next to my ex-fiance's name. The wedding date is exactly 1 year after what was supposed to be my wedding day. The venue is the same. The guest list is identical. They even kept the same florist I'd booked. The only thing that changed was the bride. I need to write this down before I lose my mind completely, because nobody in my family seems to think any of this is insane. They all acted like I was the unreasonable one for causing drama when I found out. Like I should have just quietly accepted that my entire life was being handed to my younger sister like a used dress she decided she wanted. Oh fucker, 3 years ago, I met Daniel at a work conference. He was charming, successful, exactly the kind of man my parents had always pushed me toward. We got engaged after 18 months, and I threw myself into wedding planning with the kind of enthusiasm that now makes me sick to remember. I bought bridal magazines, I made Pinterest boards, I chose a venue, the same historic estate, where my parents got married, the same place my sister and I used to play as kids during family events. My sister, Melissa, was my maid of honor. Of course she was. We'd been close growing up, or at least I thought we had. She was 3 years younger, always the prettier one, always the one who got away with everything while I was held to impossible standards. But I loved her. I trusted her when she offered to help with wedding planning. I was grateful. The first sign should have been how much time she spent with Daniel. Just coordinating groomsmen and bridesmaid stuff, she'd say, making sure everything flows smoothly. They'd meet for coffee to discuss seating charts. She'd text him directly about song choices instead of going through me. My mom said I was being paranoid when I mentioned feeling uncomfortable about it. Melissa is just being helpful. She said, "You should appreciate having a sister who cares so much." 3 weeks before the wedding, I came home early from my bachelorette party. I'd felt sick, probably stressed, and told my bridesmaids I needed to leave. I used my key to let myself into the apartment Daniel and I shared, the one we'd already filled with wedding gifts from the early arrivals who'd ship things ahead. I found them in our bed. My wedding dress was hanging on the closet door, visible through the open bedroom doorway. That detail still haunts me, that they fucked in our bed with my dress, watching like a ghost of what I thought my future would be. The aftermath was worse than the betrayal itself. I called my mom, sobbing, expecting comfort. Instead, she sighed like I was overreacting to a minor inconvenience. "These things happen," she said. "Don't be dramatic about it. Daniel and Melissa clearly have a connection. You can't force chemistry that isn't there." I couldn't breathe. Mom, they were in my bed. In the apartment we share, 3 weeks before my wedding. "Well, maybe this is a blessing," she replied, her voice cool and practical. "Better to find out now than after you are married, but you need to handle this maturely. Melissa is your sister. Family is forever." I waited for her to say she was angry at Melissa, that there would be consequences for what she'd done, that of course the wedding was canceled and Melissa would be held accountable. Instead, she said, "Your father and I already put down deposits we can't get back. Let's all sit down and talk about this like adults." The family meeting happened 2 days later. I was still in shock, barely sleeping, staying at a friend's apartment because I couldn't be in the space Daniel and I had shared. I walked into my parents' living room and found Daniel and Melissa sitting together on the couch, holding hands. My mother had set out tea and cookies like this was a normal Sunday afternoon. "Sweetie," my dad started, using his negotiation voice, the one he used in his real estate business. "We've all been talking, and we think there is a solution here that works for everyone." I stared at him, at all of them, a solution. Melissa spoke up, her voice small and apologetic, but with an edge of excitement she couldn't quite hide. "We didn't mean for this to happen, but Daniel and I, we fell in love, real love. And we think, since all the planning is already done, since everyone's already committed to the date." I watched her mouth move, but the words didn't make sense at first. Then they did. Then I understood. "You want to keep my wedding date," I said slowly. "You want to marry my fiancé using the wedding I planned." "Our wedding," Melissa corrected gently. "It would be our wedding now. And you'd save face. You wouldn't have to tell everyone you got dumped. We could say you and Daniel realized you weren't right for each other. And then he and I discovered our feelings. It is more dignified for everyone." I laughed. I actually laughed. This hysterical sound that scared even me. "You are insane. All of you are completely insane." My mother's face hardened. "Don't be selfish. Think about the family. Think about the deposits. Think about Melissa's happiness. You've always been the dramatic one. Always making everything about you. For once, can you consider someone else's feelings?" That is when something broke in me, not my heart. That was already shattered, something deeper. The part of me that had spent 28 years trying to be the perfect daughter, the reliable one, the one who followed the rules and met expectations. "I am not giving you my wedding," I said. The room went silent. Then my father spoke, his voice cold in a way I'd never heard directed at me. "Then we'll have no choice but to proceed without you. The vendors are paid, the guests are invited. We're not losing that investment because you can't be mature about a breakup." "She fucked my fiancé in my bed. Don't be crude," my mother snapped. That kind of language is exactly why Daniel probably felt unsatisfied in the relationship. "Melissa knows how to conduct herself with grace." I left, I canceled what I could, my dress order, my honeymoon flights, my name on the venue contract, but my parents owned that contract, and they refused to cancel. Daniel moved out of our apartment, and I later learned he moved directly into Melissa's place. They didn't even pretend to wait a respectful amount of time. The wedding happened exactly as planned. I know because my aunt, the only family member who was horrified by the whole situation, sent me photos she thought I deserved to see. Melissa wore a dress almost identical to the one I'd chosen. She used my florist, my photographer, my carefully curated playlist. She walked down the same aisle I was supposed to walk down, to the same man I was supposed to marry. My parents didn't invite me. When I asked my mother about it, she said, "We didn't think you'd want to come, and we didn't want you causing a scene. This is Melissa's special day." That was a year ago. For 12 months, I've been the family outcast. Holidays I am not invited to, group chats I am removed from. My younger cousins have been told I had a breakdown and am unstable. Melissa posts photos of her perfect marriage on social media, pictures of them on what was supposed to be my honeymoon, and what was supposed to be my life. And now this invitation, gold embossed, expensive cardstock. Their first anniversary party at the same venue. With the same guest list, a celebration of the love that destroyed me. The note inside is in my mother's handwriting. "We hope you've had time to heal and can join us in celebrating your sister's happiness. It is time to move past this and be a family again." I am holding this invitation in my hands. And I am realizing something I should have understood a year ago. My family didn't choose Melissa over me in a moment of weakness. They chose her because they always preferred her. I was always the expendable one, the one whose feelings mattered least, the one they could sacrifice without a second thought. I am not going to the anniversary party. I am not going to any future family events. I am done pretending this is normal, that I am the unreasonable one for not getting over it, that family means letting people destroy you and then expecting you to smile about it. But I am going to send a gift. I've already ordered it. It is a framed photo of the text messages I recovered from Daniel's old iPad. The ones where he and Melissa planned their affair while I was at work, including the message where he said, "Her family will choose you over her anyway, they always do." Let them hang that in their perfect house and explain it to their guests. Story 2. My mother gave my baby's name to my sister after I had a miscarriage. My therapist asked me to write down what happened because I keep having panic attacks when I see babies. So here it is. 3 months after I lost my daughter at 7 months pregnant, my younger sister announced she is expecting. The baby is due on what would have been my daughter's first birthday, and she is using the name we chose. My mother helped her decide. My mother, who held me at the funeral, who said she understood my grief, gave my dead daughter's name to my sister, like it was a hand-me-down dress. Nobody wanted any more. Everyone says I am being unreasonable, that names aren't owned, that I should be happy for my sister, but they weren't there when I buried my baby, and they don't know the whole story. Chapter 1. I got pregnant after 3 years of trying. My husband James and I had been through 2 rounds of IVF, a chemical pregnancy, and more negative tests than I could count. When we finally saw that positive test, we were terrified to believe it. We didn't tell anyone until the 2nd trimester. We barely let ourselves hope. At 20 weeks, we found out we were having a girl. We chose her name together, sitting in the parking lot after the ultrasound appointment. Eleanor Rose. Eleanor after James's grandmother who'd passed away. Rose after my grandmother. It was perfect. It meant something. We started calling her Ellie, talking to my belly using her name, building a nursery with her initials painted above the crib. My sister Kate was excited for us, or she seemed to be. She'd come over to help paint the nursery, brought us baby clothes, threw me a small shower when I hit 28 weeks. She was 26, single, focused on her career. "I am not ready for kids yet," she'd say, "but I'll be the best aunt to little Ellie." At 29 weeks, I went in for a routine checkup. The nurse couldn't find a heartbeat. They rushed me for an ultrasound. I watched the screen, searching for the flutter of movement I'd felt just that morning. There was nothing. Eleanor was gone, and they couldn't tell me why. Sometimes these things just happen, the doctor said, and I wanted to scream at the meaninglessness of it. I had to deliver her, had to go through labor, knowing there would be no cry at the end, no baby to hold and take home. James held my hand through all of it. We held Eleanor afterward, took pictures, said goodbye to a future that would never exist. We had a small funeral. My mother cried with me. Kate cried with me. Everyone said the right things about grief and time and healing. The first month after was black. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't see pregnant women without feeling like I was being stabbed. James went back to work after 2 weeks because he had to, but I couldn't function. I couldn't pack up the nursery. Eleanor's name was still painted above the empty crib, and I'd sit in there for hours staring at it. My mother visited often. She'd bring food, sit with me, let me cry. "You'll get through this," she'd promise. "You are strong, and you'll have other babies. Eleanor will always be your first, your angel, but there will be others." Kate visited too, less frequently. She seemed uncomfortable with my grief, would change the subject when I mentioned Eleanor. Suggested I focus on the future instead of dwelling on the past. I tried not to resent her for it. Grief makes people awkward, I understood, at 3 months post-loss. I was starting to function again, still shattered, still crying randomly, but able to leave the house. James and I talked about trying again, though the idea terrified me. My therapist said I needed to process the trauma first, that rushing into another pregnancy wouldn't heal what broke. That is when Kate called and asked to meet for coffee. Just the two of us. I have something to tell you, she said, and I want you to hear it from me first. I knew. The second she said it, I knew. That particular phrasing. I've heard it enough in my life to recognize an incoming bomb. I went anyway, some sick need to confirm what I already suspected. We met at a safe fee near her apartment. She ordered a decaf coffee. Another sign, she looked nervous, playing with her cup, not meeting my eyes. Finally, she said, I am pregnant. The room tilted. I gripped the edge of the table. How far along? 14 weeks. I didn't want to tell you earlier because of everything you've been through, but I am starting to show, and I can't hide it much longer. 14 weeks, she'd been pregnant while I was burying my daughter. While I was sitting in that nursery staring at my dead baby's name, she'd known, and she'd said nothing, had come to my house and pretended everything was normal. Who is the father? I managed. A guy I was seeing casually. He is not involved. I am doing this alone. She said it with pride, like this was empowering, like she was making a brave choice. I know the timing is awful and I am so sorry, but I am excited. I am really excited. I should have been supportive. I should have been the bigger person. Instead, I asked, when are you due? Late June. My breath stopped. Eleanor's due date had been the 28th of June. What day? The 26th. Close to summer's end. I am thinking of doing a July baby shower to avoid the heat. I stood up. I need to go. Wait. She grabbed my hand. There is something else. I wanted to ask you. I've been thinking about names, and I really love the name Eleanor. I know that was your choice for your baby, but since she is gone, I thought maybe it could be a way of honoring her memory. If I have a girl, I'd be naming her after your daughter, keeping her name alive. I pulled my hand away like she'd burned me. Number. I haven't found out the gender yet, so it might not even matter, but number absolutely not. That is my daughter's name. Kate's face hardened. She is dead. You can use the name again if you have another baby. I am not stealing it. I am asking permission. And I am saying no. I left. I sat in my car and sobbed so hard. I thought I'd be sick. When I got home, James found me on the bathroom floor, hyperventilating. She wants Eleanor's name. I choked out. She is pregnant, and she wants my baby's name. James was furious. He called Kate immediately, told her she was cruel and selfish, and that she needed to stay away from us. She cried, said she didn't understand why I was being so unreasonable, that she was trying to honor Eleanor's memory. He hung up on her. Then my mother called. You need to apologize to your sister, she said. No greeting, no warm-up. She is trying to include you in her joy, and you are making this about yourself. She wants to name her baby after my dead daughter. She wants to honor Eleanor. That is a beautiful gesture. You should be grateful. I couldn't speak. Grateful. I should be grateful that my sister wanted to take the one thing I had left of my baby, her name, her identity, the sound I whispered when I missed her. Kate is having a hard time, my mother continued. She is doing this alone, and she needs family support. You are her older sister. You should be helping her, not making her pregnancy about your loss. My loss happened 3 months ago. Mom. And we've all been very understanding, but life goes on. Kate deserves to be happy. She deserves to have a baby without you making her feel guilty about it. I am not making her feel guilty. I am asking her not to use my daughter's name. It is just a name. You can pick another one if you get pregnant again. Kate fell in love with Eleanor, and I think it is selfish of you to deny her that just because you are bitter. Bitter. My mother called me bitter for not wanting my sister to erase my child. Fine, I said. Tell her to do whatever she wants, but I won't be involved. You are really going to skip your sister's baby shower. Miss your niece or nephew's birth because of a name. Yes, my mother sighed. The same disappointed sigh I'd heard my whole childhood whenever I failed to meet her expectations. You are breaking this family apart. I hope you realize that. She hung up 2 days later. Kate posted her gender reveal on Facebook. A girl, the comments flooded with congratulations. My mother commented, can't wait to meet little Eleanor. They decided. Without my permission, despite my explicit refusal, they'd taken my daughter's name and given it to Kate's baby. And my mother was celebrating it publicly, making sure everyone knew, daring me to cause a scene. I deleted Facebook. I blocked Kate's number. I told my mother I needed space. She showed up at my house anyway, let herself in with the key I'd given her years ago for emergencies. She found me in Eleanor's nursery, the one I still couldn't pack up. This is unhealthy, she said, looking around at the untouched room. You are living in the past. Kate's baby is a chance for new life, new hope. You should see this as a blessing. Get out. I am your mother. I am trying to help you. You are helping Kate erase my daughter. You are treating Eleanor like she didn't exist, like her name doesn't matter because she is dead. Get out of my house. If you don't come to the baby shower, if you don't support your sister, you are not welcome at family events anymore. I won't have you bringing negativity into Kate's pregnancy. This is your choice. She left. I changed the locks that afternoon. James helped me pack up the nursery that weekend, crying with me as we boxed up the clothes Eleanor never wore, the toys she never played with. We kept her name sign. It is in our bedroom now, hung above our bed. A reminder that she existed, that she mattered. That she wasn't just a name someone else could borrow. Kate had her baby 3 weeks ago. A healthy girl, 7 pounds, 9 ounces. I know because my aunt, my father's sister, the only family member who sided with me, sent me the birth announcement, Eleanor Catherine. They used Eleanor as the first name. My mother posted hundreds of photos, calls her my sweet Ellie, uses all the nicknames I use when I talk to my belly. I am not okay. My therapist says I am grieving twice now. Once for my daughter, once for my family. James says we don't need them, that we'll build our own family, our own life. We're trying to get pregnant again. I am terrified. I am terrified of losing another baby, terrified of my mother finding out and making it about Kate somehow. Terrified that even if we have a daughter, I can't give her the name that was meant to be hers because my sister stole it. My mother sent me a photo yesterday. Baby Eleanor, Kate's Eleanor, wearing an outfit that says, Mommy's little angel. The caption, our angel finally arrived. Our angel. Like my Eleanor never existed. Like her name, her memory, her entire existence can just be overwritten by a living baby who everyone finds more convenient to love. I am done. I am done trying to make them understand. I am done hoping they'll see what they did. My daughter existed. Her name was Eleanor Rose. She mattered. And no one, not my sister, not my mother, not anyone gets to take that away from me. Story 3. Reddit cheating scandal. Husband's affair with my therapist. I trusted 2 people completely. My husband of 8 years and the therapist who was supposed to help me survive the worst period of my life. They destroyed me together, methodically, while I paid $200 an hour to help them do it. I am writing this from a hotel room because I can't go home. Home is where I found them. Home is where my therapist, the woman I cried to about my suicidal thoughts, was in my bed with my husband wearing my robe, drinking from my favorite mug. The worst part. She was still billing my insurance for our sessions. Sessions where she'd ask detailed questions about my sex life with my husband so she could use the information to fuck him better. 2 years ago, I was sexually assaulted by a colleague at a work conference. I won't go into details, but it shattered me. I developed severe PTSD, couldn't work, couldn't sleep, couldn't be touched without having panic attacks. My husband, Marcus, was supportive at first. He held me through nightmares, came to police interviews, told me we'd get through it together. But months passed, and I wasn't getting better. The criminal case went nowhere. Not enough evidence. They said, my attacker kept his job while I took medical leave. Marcus started getting frustrated with my lack of progress. You need professional help, he'd say, kindly but firmly. I can't be your only support. It is too much pressure. He was right. I found Dr. Sarah Mitchell through my insurance. She specialized in trauma, had excellent reviews, seemed genuinely compassionate in our first session. I started seeing her twice a week. She put me on a treatment plan, assigned homework, helped me process what happened. For the first time since the assault, I felt like maybe I could heal. I told her everything about the assault, obviously, but also about my marriage, about how Marcus and I hadn't had sex in 8 months because I couldn't handle being touched, about my guilt over that, my fear that he'd leave me, my insecurity about not being enough anymore. She listened with perfect therapeutic neutrality, asked probing questions, helped me work through my feelings. Intimacy issues are normal after trauma, she'd say. But it is important to communicate with Marcus about your needs and his. Have you two considered couples counseling? We hadn't. Marcus said he didn't need therapy, that I was the one with the problem. Dr. Mitchell suggested I work on my individual healing first, then we could address the marriage. It made sense. I trusted her completely. Around month 4 of therapy, Marcus's mood improved dramatically. He was more patient with me, less frustrated by my slow progress. He started working late more often, taking work trips, but he said it was just a busy season at his firm. When he was home, he was almost the man I'd married, attentive, kind, even physically affectionate in ways that didn't trigger me. You are doing so well, Dr. Mitchell told me in one session. I can see real progress. How is Marcus responding to the changes? He seems happier, I said. More like himself. I think he is adjusting to the new normal. That is wonderful. A supportive partner makes all the difference in trauma recovery. I believed her. I believed both of them. I was so focused on healing, on trying to become functional again, that I didn't notice the obvious signs. Marcus's phone always face down. New cologne, gym memberships he never used before. Coming home smelling like unfamiliar perfume and saying it was from a client meeting. Dr. Mitchell asking increasingly specific questions about our sex life. When you think about being intimate with Marcus, what specifically triggers your anxiety? Has he expressed frustration about the lack of physical intimacy? Do you worry he might seek that intimacy elsewhere? I thought she was helping me process normal fears. I thought she was being thorough. I didn't realize she was gathering intelligence. 6 months into therapy, Dr. Mitchell suggested I was ready to try being intimate with Marcus again. Start small, she said. Maybe just sleeping in the same bed again, physical proximity without expectations. See how it feels. I tried. Marcus was thrilled when I suggested it. That night, I lasted 10 minutes before having a panic attack and returning to the guest room. He was understanding. It is okay, he said. We'll keep trying. I am not going anywhere. The next session, Dr. Mitchell asked detailed questions about what happened, what I felt, what Marcus did, how he reacted. I answered everything, grateful for her interest, desperate for her guidance on how to fix myself. You are putting too much pressure on yourself, she said. Healing isn't linear. Maybe give yourself permission to not be sexual for a while longer. Focus on other forms of intimacy. I felt relieved. Marcus seemed fine with it when I told him. Whatever you need, he said. I love you. We'll figure it out. 2 weeks ago, I had a breakthrough in therapy. I cried through the entire session, finally processed a memory I'd been avoiding. Felt something shift in my chest. Dr. Mitchell was proud of me. This is major progress, she said. You should celebrate. Do something nice for yourself this weekend. I decided to surprise Marcus. He'd been so patient, so supportive. I took Friday off work, my first day back at the office since the assault bought expensive steaks. His favorite wine, dressed in something that made me feel almost pretty again. I wanted to thank him, maybe even try to be close to him again, physically. If I could manage it, I came home early to start cooking. His car was in the driveway, which surprised me. He'd said he had meetings until late. I used my key, walked in quietly, heard voices upstairs, laughter. A woman's voice, familiar but out of place. I climbed the stairs. Our bedroom door was open, and there they were. Marcus and Dr. Sarah Mitchell, in my bed, her long dark hair spread across my pillows. My robe, the soft blue one, Marcus gave me for our anniversary, tied loosely around her waist. They were drinking wine from my wedding crystal, the glasses we only used for special occasions. They didn't notice me at first. I stood in the doorway frozen, watching my husband touch my therapist the way he used to touch me before the assault, before everything broke. She was laughing at something he said, relaxed and intimate in a way that made it clear. This wasn't the first time, this was routine. Comfortable, familiar. Marcus, I said. And my voice sounded strange, distant. They jerked apart. Dr. Mitchell's face went white. Marcus scrambled off the bed, pulling on his pants. Jesus Christ, you are supposed to be at work. You are supposed to be in meetings. I can explain. How long? Silence. Dr. Mitchell was staring at me with this expression I couldn't read, not quite guilty, almost clinical, like she was observing my reaction for professional interest. How long? I repeated. 6 months, Marcus said finally. It just happened. We met at your session. You came to my therapy. On Sierra Leone, Dr. Mitchell suggested a partner session to discuss how to support you. We just connected. We didn't mean for it to happen. I looked at Dr. Mitchell. She was putting her clothes on now, methodical and calm. I think we should all sit down and talk about this rationally, she said. And her voice was the same soothing therapist voice she used in sessions. This is obviously a shock, and feelings are running high. You were my therapist. I know this is complicated. You knew everything about me. Every fear, every weakness, every secret. I told you I was afraid Marcus would leave me because I couldn't have sex anymore. I told you I felt worthless, and you used all of that to fuck my husband. That is not what happened, she said. But there was something in her eyes, a coldness I'd never seen before. You were making no progress in therapy. Your trauma was affecting Marcus profoundly. I provided support for both of you. You are still billing my insurance. I checked this morning. You billed for our session 3 days ago. When I told you about my breakthrough. When I cried for an hour about finally feeling like I might survive this. Her face shifted. Just slightly, a crack in the professional mask. My relationship with Marcus is separate from our therapeutic relationship. There is no therapeutic relationship anymore. I was surprised by how calm I sounded, how clear. You are going to lose your license. I am going to make sure everyone knows what you did. You have no proof, she said, and there it was. The real Dr. Mitchell, cold, calculating. And even if you make accusations, who is going to believe the mentally unstable patient with PTSD over a respected therapist? You are not well. Everyone knows that. You've been documented as having paranoid thoughts, difficulty trusting people. I documented that in my notes. The notes you wrote, you set me up. Marcus was crying now. I am sorry. God, I am so sorry. I was lonely. And you were so broken, and Sarah understood. Don't call her Sarah. That is Dr. Mitchell. The woman I paid to help me heal, who was destroying my marriage instead. I left. I grabbed my keys, my phone, nothing else. I drove to a hotel and checked in, then sat on the bed and stared at the wall for 3 hours. Then I called my insurance company and filed a formal complaint. Then I called the state licensing board. Then I called a lawyer who specializes in therapist misconduct. The lawyer was optimistic. Text messages between them mentioning your therapy sessions would be gold, she said. Any evidence she shared confidential information with him used session content to facilitate the affair. That is grounds for losing her license and a potential lawsuit. I didn't have evidence yet, but I had access to our phone records. Our shared iCloud account. Marcus was a creature of habit. His passwords hadn't changed in years. I spent that night combing through everything. I found it all. Text between them starting exactly 6 months ago. Right after that, partner session Marcus attended. Dr. Mitchell asking questions about me. Did she mention what we discussed today? How did she react when you touched her? Giving him advice on how to handle me. Don't push the intimacy issue. Let her feel in control of the timeline. Discussing their affair. Can't wait to see you Thursday. Tell her you have a late meeting. One text destroyed me more than the others. From Dr. Mitchell to Marcus. Sent the night of my breakthrough session. She had a major emotional release today. She is vulnerable right now. Be extra attentive for the next few days. She'll need you, which means she'll be less suspicious of us. She'd engineered my healing to cover her affair. She'd manipulated my trauma. My therapy, my progress to serve her own agenda, every breakthrough I thought I'd made, every moment I trusted her, she'd been using it against me. I forwarded everything to my lawyer, to the licensing board, to my insurance company's fraud division. Then I texted Marcus, divorce papers are coming. Don't contact me. Tell your girlfriend her career is over. That was 2 weeks ago. The licensing board is investigating. My lawyer says the evidence is damning. Not just the affair, but the documented manipulation, the insurance fraud, the breach of therapeutic ethics. Dr. Mitchell's practice has already lost hospital affiliations. Several former patients have come forward with their own complaints after my case became public record. Marcus has called 247 times. I counted. He has texted me essays about his regret, his shame, his love for me. He claims Dr. Mitchell manipulated him too, that she was the pursuer, that he was vulnerable and she took advantage. My lawyer says he is trying to establish an abuse narrative to protect himself in the divorce. I don't care about his excuses. I don't care if Dr. Mitchell loses everything. I don't care that Marcus is staying in a friend's apartment because I changed the locks and his lawyer says I can't legally do that. They destroyed me together, systematically, while I was at my most broken. They took my trust, my vulnerability, my desperate need to heal, and they weaponized it. I am seeing a new therapist now, Dr. Patricia Chen. She is older, maternal, has a 14-page code of ethics posted in her office. First session, I told her everything. She cried. Actually cried, apologized on behalf of her profession, promised me she'd never betray that trust. What Dr. Mitchell did wasn't just unethical. Dr. Chen said it was evil. She took a trauma victim and traumatized her all over again. That is not medicine, that is sadism. I am not okay. I don't know when I'll be okay, but I know this. I am going to make sure everyone knows what they did. Every therapist board, every professional organization, every news outlet that will listen. Dr. Sarah Mitchell is going to lose her license, her reputation, her career. Marcus is going to lose me, our home, half of everything we built together, and maybe eventually I'll heal from this too. The assault, the betrayal, all of it. But this time I am healing for me, not for a therapist who saw me as a project. Not for a husband who saw me as an inconvenience. For me, because I survived the worst thing I thought could happen to me, and then I survived something even worse. If I can survive that, I can survive anything. Story 4, Reddit secret affair. Best friend pregnant with husband's baby. My husband and I spent 5 years and $80,000 trying to have a baby. 4 rounds of IVF, 3 miscarriages. Endless doctor appointments, hormone injections. Hope that kept dying. My best friend held my hand through all of it. She was there for every negative test, every loss. Every devastating phone call from the fertility clinic. She cried with me. She promised we'd find a way. Last week, she invited me to lunch and told me she is 12 weeks pregnant. The father is my husband. They've been planning this for 6 months, and they want me to help raise the baby as our family's miracle. They genuinely think I should be grateful. Chapter 1. My husband Ryan and I got married 7 years ago with a plan. Build our careers for 2 years, then start trying for a family. We followed the plan exactly. I was 30 when we started trying. We were healthy, financially stable, excited about becoming parents. We assumed it would happen quickly. 12 months of negative tests later. We saw a fertility specialist, unexplained infertility, they called it. Everything looked normal on paper. My eggs were viable. Ryan's sperm count was excellent, but month after month, nothing happened. We tried IUI and intrauterine insemination. 3 rounds, 3 failures, then we moved to IVF. My best friend Jenna was incredible through all of this. We'd been friends since college, roommates for 3 years before Ryan and I got married. She was single, focused on her career, the kind of friend who'd show up with wine and Chinese food after every failed treatment. She came to doctor appointments when Ryan couldn't get off work. She researched fertility treatments, sent me articles, connected me with other women who'd struggled with infertility. You are going to be a mom, she'd promise. I know it. You are going to have your baby. The first IVF round seemed perfect. We transferred 2 embryos. I was so careful. No caffeine, no stress, positive thinking. I took a home pregnancy test at 6 days post-transfer, even though I wasn't supposed to. Positive, I screamed, Ryan cried. Jenna brought champagne non-alcoholic for me, and we celebrated like we'd already won. I miscarried at 7 weeks. The embryo had stopped developing. But my body hadn't recognized it yet. I needed a D&C. Jenna drove me to the procedure. Because Ryan was out of town for work. She sat in the waiting room, held my hand in recovery, took me home and stayed with me for 3 days while I bled and grieved. We tried again. And again, 3 more IVF rounds over the next 3 years. One resulted in another miscarriage at 9 weeks. The others didn't take it all. Our savings account emptied. My body was exhausted from hormones. My marriage was strained from the stress and grief and relentless disappointment. Maybe we should consider other options, Ryan said after the 4th failed round, adoption. Surrogacy, or maybe accepting that it is not going to happen. I wasn't ready to give up. Jenna wasn't either. One more try, she encouraged. You've come so far, don't stop now. But I was breaking. The fertility treatments had taken over my life. Every month was a cycle of hope and destruction. I was bitter about other people's pregnancies, resentful of friends with kids, unable to function at family events where everyone kept asking when we'd have children. My therapist suggested taking a break. Your mental health is suffering. Give yourself 6 months to just stop thinking about pregnancy. Focus on your marriage, your friendships, yourself. I agreed. Ryan seemed relieved. We planned a vacation, something we hadn't done in years because we were always saving money for the next treatment, or I was in the middle of a cycle. Jenna suggested we all go together, make it a group trip. You two need fun, let me help provide that. We went to Mexico 5 days at an all-inclusive resort. It was the first time in years I felt almost normal. I drank alcohol without guilt. I stayed up late. I had sex with my husband without tracking ovulation or analyzing positions for optimal conception. Jenna was there, fun and supportive, making sure we relaxed, taking goofy photos, being the friend I'd always needed. On the last night, Ryan got food poisoning, violent, all-night kind. Jenna and I stayed up with him, taking turns bringing water and towels, making sure he was okay. At some point around 3 a.m., he finally fell asleep, and Jenna and I went down to the beach. Thank you, I said, for everything, for being here, for not giving up on me when I wanted to give up on myself. You are my best friend, she said. I'd do anything for you. We went home. Life returned to the holding pattern of not trying but not preventing. I started feeling more like myself. My relationship with Ryan improved. We talked about things other than babies. We made plans for a future that might not include children. 3 months after Mexico, Jenna asked to meet for lunch. I have something important to tell you, she said. In person. I assumed she'd met someone. She'd been dating casually, but nothing serious. Maybe she was finally in a relationship, and she wanted to tell me before making it Facebook official. I was happy for her. She deserved love. We met at our favorite cafe. She looked nervous, kept fidgeting with her napkin. I don't know how to say this, she started, so I am just going to say it. I am pregnant. My stomach dropped, not because she was pregnant, because of the way she said it, the tone. The nervous energy. This wasn't a happy announcement. This was something else. Congratulations, I managed. Who is the father? She didn't answer right away. She looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Guilt and defiance mixed together. Ryan. The cough noise faded out. I stared at her. What? In Mexico. That night he was sick before that. Actually, earlier in the trip, it happened a few times. We didn't plan it, but then I realized I was late and I took a test, and she paused. I am 12 weeks along. 12 weeks, 3 months. She'd known for at least a month, probably longer. She'd been to my house, had dinner with us, acted completely normal while carrying my husband's baby. I need you to understand something, she continued, and her voice was stronger now, more certain. This wasn't an affair. This was a solution. You and Ryan want a baby so desperately, and you couldn't make it happen. I can. I am. This baby, our baby, can be what you've been trying for. We can raise it together. You, me, Ryan, a family. I couldn't speak, couldn't process what she was saying. Ryan and I talked about it extensively, she said. He is on board. He wants this. We both want you to be involved, to be the mother you've always wanted to be. This baby would have 3 parents who love it. Isn't that better than not having a baby at all? You slept with my husband. To give you a baby, to give us all a family. It was never about romance or betrayal. It was about creating life where your body couldn't. I walked out. I don't remember leaving the cafe or getting to my car. The next thing I knew, I was sitting in my driveway, hyperventilating. Ryan's car parked next to mine. He was home. He knew I was meeting Jenna. He knew what she was going to tell me. I walked inside. Ryan was in the living room, standing like he'd been waiting for me. Let me explain, he said immediately. You fucked my best friend. It wasn't like that. You got her pregnant while I was having a mental breakdown over not being able to have your baby. It was a solution she offered. She offered this was planned. This wasn't a drunken mistake. He looked uncomfortable, guilty but also defensive, not entirely planned. Not at first. In Mexico, it happened spontaneously the first time. We were drunk, you were asleep, and it just happened. But afterward, we talked about how maybe this was meant to be, how maybe this was the universe giving us the family we wanted, just in a different way. So you kept fucking her. We were trying to conceive for you, for us. I laughed. Actually laughed, this horrible broken sound. You were trying to conceive with my best friend while I thought my marriage was healing. Your marriage is fine. This doesn't change us. I love you. This was never about wanting Jenna instead of you. It was about giving you what you wanted most, a baby. I wanted your baby with me. And now we can have one. Genetically, it is mine. Biologically, it is Jenna's. But emotionally, it can be ours. All of ours. Jenna's willing to live nearby, to co-parent, to let you be as involved as you want. You could be at every doctor appointment, every milestone. You'd be the baby's aunt, co-mom. We'd figure out the terminology. I stared at him, at this man I'd been married to for 7 years, who I'd suffered with through years of infertility, who I thought I knew completely. How long have you been planning this? We started seriously discussing it about a month before Mexico. Jenna brought it up, said she'd noticed how much we were struggling and wanted to help. She offered to be a surrogate, but that felt too clinical, too expensive. This felt more natural. She is healthy, she is young, she conceived easily, and she loves you. She wants to give you this gift. This gift, I repeated. The gift of raising my husband's affair baby with my best friend. It is not an affair if it was done for you. I threw my coffee mug at him. It shattered against the wall behind his head. He flinched. I'd never thrown anything in my life, never yelled like I was yelling now. Get out. Get out of this house right now, or I am calling the police. This is my house too. I don't care. Get out. He left. Jenna tried calling 47 times that night. I blocked her. She showed up at my door the next morning. I didn't let her in. She shouted through the door, "You are being irrational. This is what you wanted. A baby. Our baby. You need to calm down and think about this logically." I called a lawyer that afternoon. Filed for divorce. The lawyer was disturbed by the whole story. "This is the strangest case I've had in 20 years of family law," she said. "Your husband and best friend planned to impregnate her as some kind of gift. That is not surrogacy. That is not co-parenting. That is an affair dressed up as altruism." Ryan hired his own lawyer. His legal argument is that the pregnancy was a consensual arrangement meant to benefit me, and therefore shouldn't be considered adultery in the divorce proceedings. My lawyer says that is insane and won't hold up. But we'll see. Jenna posted the pregnancy announcement on Facebook 3 days ago. Beautiful maternity photos. Caption, "Excited to announce I am pregnant. This baby is a miracle and a blessing, created with love to bring joy to people I care about deeply. Can't wait to meet our little one in June." Our mutual friends are commenting congratulations, asking who the father is. She hasn't responded. Neither has Ryan. They're waiting to tell people the whole story, I think. Waiting for some magical moment when I come around and agree to their insane co-parenting plan. My sister called me yesterday. Is it true? Is Jenna pregnant with Ryan's baby? Someone had told her. Small town gossip spreads fast. Yes. What are you going to do? Divorce him. Never speak to her again. Move somewhere none of them can find me. She is saying it was meant as a gift. That you knew about the plan. I didn't know anything. They planned this behind my back, got her pregnant while pretending everything was normal, then presented it to me like I should be grateful. That is insane. Everyone thinks I am insane for not seeing this as the miracle they claim it is. Ryan's family called me selfish, said I am throwing away a marriage and a chance at motherhood because of pride. Jenna's posting cryptic things on Instagram about friendship and sacrifice and ungrateful people. I am not insane. I am devastated. They took my deepest pain, my infertility, my desperate desire for a child, and twisted it into justification for an affair. They made my trauma about them, their solution, their plan. They never asked me. They decided for me that this was what I needed. The baby is due in June. A girl, apparently. Jenna told my sister, who told me they're planning to name her Emma. Emma Ryan, not Emma with Ryan's last name and Jenna's last name. Just Emma Ryan, like Ryan is her only parent. Like I am supposed to be grateful enough to accept whatever crumbs of parenthood they decide to offer me. I am not going to co-parent. I am not going to be Aunt Emma. I am not going to watch my ex-husband raise a child with my former best friend and pretend it is the happy ending they tried to engineer. I am going to divorce Ryan, take half of everything, move across the country, and build a life that doesn't include either of them or their miracle baby. Because here is what they don't understand. I didn't just want a baby. I wanted a family built on love and trust and partnership. I wanted a child created in joy, not in deception. I wanted the experience of being pregnant, feeling life grow inside me, sharing that intimate journey with my partner. They stole that from me. They took my dream and perverted it into something grotesque. Then gift, wrapped it in expected gratitude. They thought I was so desperate, so broken by infertility that I'd accept anything, no matter how degrading. They were wrong. I am broken. Yes. But I am not that broken. I am worth more than being the third wheel in my own supposed family. I am worth more than raising my husband's affair baby out of guilt and desperation. So they can keep their miracle, they can raise Emma Ryan together, and explain to her someday why mommy and daddy aren't married. Why daddy's ex-wife won't speak to them. Why this family doesn't include the woman it was supposedly created for. Maybe Emma will understand, maybe she'll think they're heroes who made a tough choice out of love. Or maybe she'll realize what I know now, that some gifts are poisoned, that some solutions are worse than the problems they claim to solve. That planning a baby as a way to fix someone else's pain isn't altruism. It is cruelty dressed up as kindness. I hope Emma has a good life. I really do. She didn't ask for this mess, but she is not my miracle. She is theirs. And I am done pretending otherwise. Story 5. Reddit toxic parent. Mother sabotaged my college acceptance. I spent 4 years as the perfect student. 4.0 GPA, president of 3 clubs. State champion in debate. Also, I could earn a full ride scholarship to Northwestern. And finally escape my family. I got the scholarship. The acceptance letter came in February of my senior year. I cried when I opened it. My mother hugged me and said she was proud. That was a lie. Last week, 1 week before I was supposed to move into my dorm, my mother sat me down and told me she declined the scholarship in April. She forged my signature on the declination form. She helped my younger sister apply to Northwestern using my achievements. My sister is moving into my dorm room tomorrow, and my mother expects me to understand because she needs it more than you do. Chapter 1. I come from a family where perfection was the minimum expectation. My mother was a professor, my father a surgeon. Intelligence was currency in our house. And I learned early that my value was directly tied to my grades. My younger sister Madison never had the same pressure. She was the creative one, the free spirit, the one who didn't need to perform to be loved. I was the one who had to earn it. So I earned it. Every award, every achievement was me buying my mother's approval. By high school, I turned it into an art form. I took AP classes starting freshman year. I joined debate team and won regional competitions. I became president of Student Council, National Honor Society, and the Environmental Club. I volunteered at hospitals, tutored underprivileged kids, built houses with Habitat for Humanity. My college applications were perfect. Madison was 2 years younger, a sophomore when I was a senior. She was struggling academically, mostly B's and C's. Occasionally skipping class, more interested in art and drama than actual coursework. My mother constantly compared us, usually in my favor, which Madison resented. Why can't you be more like your sister? Was a refrain in our house. I felt guilty about that. I tried to help Madison with homework, but she'd snap at me that she didn't need my pity. Our relationship was strained by the constant comparison. But I loved her. I wanted her to succeed too, just not at my expense. Northwestern had been my dream school since 8th grade. Journalism program ranked top 5 nationally. Campus in Evanston, far enough from home to feel independent but close enough to visit if needed. Most importantly, far enough that I could finally be something other than the perfect daughter. When I found out they offered full ride scholarships for academic excellence, I focused everything on earning one. I studied obsessively. I won state debate finals. I got a perfect SAT score. I wrote essays that made my English teacher cry. I did everything right. The acceptance letter came in February. Admitted with a full scholarship, full tuition, room and board, even a stipend for books and supplies. It was everything. I'd be the first in my extended family to attend an elite university without parental financial support. I wouldn't owe my parents anything. I'd be free. My mother cried when I showed her. Happy tears, I thought. I am so proud of you, she said, hugging me tight. You worked so hard for this. You deserve it. My father was proud too, in his distant way. Madison congratulated me, though she seemed subdued. My mother threw me a celebration dinner, invited relatives. Posted about my achievement on Facebook. So grateful for my brilliant daughter, she wrote, Northwestern is lucky to have her. I believed her. I believed all of it. I spent the next months in a haze of senior year joy prom, graduation, saying goodbye to high school friends. I bought dorm supplies, I picked out my class schedule, I joined the Facebook group for incoming freshmen, and found my roommate. Everything was falling into place. Madison's sophomore year ended rough. She failed 2 classes, barely passed the others. She'd have to take summer school to stay on track. My mother was disappointed but not surprised. Madison just isn't academic like you, she'd say. She'll find her path eventually. Summer came. I worked part-time to save money for personal expenses, spent evenings packing, counting down days until I left. 1 week before my move-in date, my mother asked me to sit down. We need to talk, she said. and something in her voice made my stomach drop. What is wrong? She took a breath, looked at me with this strange expression, part guilt, part defiance. I need to tell you something about Northwestern. I should have told you months ago, but I wanted to find the right time, and there never seemed to be one. Tell me what? I declined your scholarship. In April, they sent paperwork requiring confirmation, and I declined it on your behalf. The room tilted. What? You are not going to Northwestern. I am sorry, but Madison needs this opportunity more than you do. I couldn't process the words. They didn't make sense. You declined my scholarship. Madison was struggling so much. She needed a fresh start, something to motivate her, to give her purpose. When Northwestern sent the confirmation paperwork, it came to the house, addressed to you, but I opened it, I realized we had an opportunity. Madison could go instead. She could use your achievements, your application, your scholarship. She could be you, for Northwestern's purposes, and she'd thrive there. The change of environment, the prestige, it would transform her. I stared at my mother, this woman I'd spent 18 years trying to please, whose approval I'd chased like oxygen. You forged my signature, you stole my scholarship, you gave it to Madison. I made a choice for this family. You are smart enough to get scholarships anywhere. You'll be fine at the state school or community college while you reapply. Madison wouldn't survive that. She needs Northwestern. She needs the opportunity you were given. I earned that opportunity, 4 years of perfect grades, every achievement, every competition, every hour of study. That was me, not Madison, and you'll achieve more. You always do. Madison needs this win. She needs to feel special, to have something that is hers. You've had everything your whole life. Let her have this one thing. She didn't even apply to Northwestern. She did. I helped her. We used your transcripts, your test scores, your essays, minor modifications to make it seem like her voice. But essentially your application. They accepted her, accepted you, really based on your merits. The scholarship transferred perfectly. I couldn't breathe. That is fraud. It is a mother helping both her daughters. You by forcing you out of your comfort zone. Her by giving her a chance she wouldn't have had otherwise. Where am I supposed to go? School starts in a week. I don't have applications anywhere else. I turned down other acceptances because of Northwestern. My mother handed me a folder. Inside were acceptance letters to state schools, community colleges. I applied to backup options for you. Just in case you didn't react well to the news, you can start at state in the fall semester or take a gap year and reapply next year to wherever you want. You've been planning this for months, since April. 5 months of lying to me. I was waiting for the right time to tell you. The right time is a week before I'm supposed to leave. I didn't want to ruin your summer. You deserve to be happy. I stood up, started packing my bags. My mother followed me to my room. Where are you going? Anywhere that isn't here. Don't be dramatic. You'll go to state. You'll do well there too. And in a few years, you'll thank me for teaching you resilience and adaptability. I'll never thank you. I'll never forgive you. You stole my future and gave it to Madison because she was too lazy to earn her own. Your sister is not lazy. She is different. She needs different support, and you are strong enough to handle disappointment. I called Northwestern that night from a friend's house. Explained what happened. The admissions officer was horrified. Your mother forged legal documents and committed identity fraud. We need to investigate this immediately. If what you are saying is true, your sister's acceptance will be revoked. It was true. They investigated, found the forged signatures, the fraudulent application, my mother's email account posing as me. Madison's acceptance was revoked 3 days before she was supposed to leave. My scholarship was reinstated, but it was too late for me to attend that semester. They offered to defer it to spring semester or next fall. Madison was devastated. She'd told all her friends she was going to Northwestern, packed everything, mentally prepared to leave. When it fell apart, she blamed me. You ruined this. You couldn't let me have one thing. You had to take it back. I didn't take anything. It was always mine. Mom stole it. You told them. You reported us. You destroyed my future because you are selfish and jealous. My mother was facing legal consequences. Northwestern pressed charges for fraud. The local newspaper ran a story, Professor commits admission fraud for daughter. She lost her job. My father filed for divorce, horrified by what she'd done and the damage to his reputation. Our extended family took sides, some defending my mother's intentions, others appalled by her actions. I left, moved in with my aunt in another state, took the spring deferral at Northwestern. Started therapy to process what my mother had done, the betrayal of someone who was supposed to protect me. My aunt was furious on my behalf. She sacrificed you to prop up your sister. That is not love. That is favoritism taken to criminal extremes. Madison and I don't speak. She is at community college now, still blaming me for ruining her chance at Northwestern. My mother sent me letters from jail. She got 6 months for fraud and forgery, explaining that she did it out of love, that she wanted both her daughters to succeed, that she made a hard choice for the family's good. None of the letters mention what she took from me. None acknowledged the years I spent earning something she gave away, like it meant nothing. I start at Northwestern in January. Spring semester, new roommate, new start. I'll graduate a semester late, but I'll graduate from my dream school with my earned scholarship, without my mother's support, without my family's approval. Because I learned something from all of this, I don't need their validation. I never did. I worked for Northwestern because I wanted it, because I love journalism, because I had dreams. Not because my mother demanded perfection, not because I was competing with Madison, because it was mine. And what is mine can't be taken by someone who claims to love me while stabbing me in the back. My mother will be released in 3 months. She has written asking if we can reconcile, if I'll visit, if I can forgive her. I won't respond. She made her choice when she forged my signature. She chose Madison's comfort over my future. She chose favoritism over fairness. She chose to destroy me to build up my sister. I hope Madison thrives at community college. I genuinely do. She didn't ask to be the golden child, didn't ask our mother to commit fraud on her behalf. But I also hope she understands someday what it cost me, what our mother stole, what can never be given back. And I hope my mother lives every day knowing she destroyed her relationship with her oldest daughter for nothing. Because Madison didn't get Northwestern, I did. And I got it twice. Once by earning it, once by fighting to get it back from the person who tried to erase me. Story 6. Reddit marriage collapse. Wife left me for my terminally ill brother 3 years ago. My younger brother was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 months to live. They said, maybe a year with aggressive treatment. I was devastated. My wife Sarah was incredible, compassionate, supportive, immediately offering to help however we needed. When my brother said he wanted to spend his final months at home rather than in a hospital, Sarah volunteered to be his primary caregiver. You need to keep working, she said. We need the insurance. I'll take care of him. I thought she was being selfless. I thought I was lucky to have a wife who loved my family so much. I didn't know she'd fall in love with my dying brother. I didn't know she'd divorce me to be with him. And I definitely didn't know he'd survive, go into full remission, and they'd expect me to financially support their new life together. Because you owe us for tearing the family apart. Chapter 1. My brother Tyler was 30. Only when he got diagnosed. I was 35. We'd always been close, typical brother rivalry growing up, but by adulthood we were best friends. He was my best man at my wedding. He came to Sunday dinners at our house, played video games with me, texted me stupid memes. Normal brother stuff. The diagnosis came out of nowhere. He'd been having stomach pain for months, ignored it because he was young and healthy. Finally went to a doctor when the pain became unbearable. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer, already metastasized to his liver. The oncologist gave him 6 months, maybe a year with chemotherapy. Survival rate basically zero, or parents were gone. Died in a car accident 5 years earlier. Tyler and I were all the family each other had. When he asked if he could move into our guest room instead of staying alone in his apartment, I didn't hesitate. Sarah agreed immediately. Family takes care of family, she said. We'll get through this together. Sarah was a part-time graphic designer working from home, flexible schedule. I was in finance, high-pressure jobs, 60-hour weeks. It made sense for her to be Tyler's primary caregiver. She'd take him to chemo appointments, manage his medications, cook meals that wouldn't make him nauseous. Help him on bad days when the treatment left him too weak to move. Tyler started chemo. It was brutal. He lost weight, his hair, his energy. Some days he couldn't get out of bed. Sarah was amazing with him, patient, gentle, making him laugh even when he felt like death. I was so grateful. I was working insane hours to keep our insurance active, to pay for the experimental treatments insurance wouldn't cover. I'd come home exhausted and find Sarah reading to Tyler or watching movies with him or just sitting with him when he was too sick to do anything else. You are an angel, Tyler told her once. I'd overheard it from the hallway. I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to thank me, Sarah replied. I care about you, we all do. 4 months into treatment, Tyler started responding better than expected. His tumors were shrinking. The oncologist was cautiously optimistic. Sometimes we see these miracles, he said. The chemo is working. His body is fighting. He might have more time than we thought. We were ecstatic. Tyler was going to live longer than 6 months. Maybe a year, maybe 2. Every extra day felt like a gift. Sarah seemed happier too, more energized. I thought she was just relieved he was doing better. I didn't notice that she was spending even more time with him, that they had inside jokes I didn't understand, that she lit up when he entered a room in ways she hadn't lit up for me in years. 6 months into treatment, Tyler's scans showed significant improvement. The tumors were continuing to shrink. It is not remission yet, the doctor cautioned, but we're heading in that direction. This is extraordinary. That night, Sarah made a special dinner to celebrate. Tyler was feeling well enough to sit at the table, to eat real food, to laugh and joke like his old self. It felt like we were getting my brother back, like maybe against all odds he'd survive this. After dinner, Tyler pulled me aside. Can we talk privately? We went to my home office. He looked nervous, uncomfortable. What is wrong? I asked. Are you not feeling well? I am feeling complicated. He took a breath. I need to tell you something, and you are going to hate me, but I can't keep lying. My stomach tightened. Lying about what? Sarah and I, we've fallen in love. I laughed because it was absurd, because he was joking. Except he wasn't laughing. He was looking at me with this guilty, determined expression I'd never seen before. What? We didn't mean for it to happen. We tried to fight it, but spending all this time together, getting to know each other on this deeper level, it just happened. We're in love, and I am not going to die anymore, probably. So we want to be together. Sarah wants a divorce. She wants to be with me, and I want to be with her. I am sorry. I know this is awful, but I am not going to waste whatever time I have left pretending I don't love her. I couldn't process it. You are fucking my wife. We haven't had sex. We wouldn't do that to you. But emotionally, yes, we're together. We want to be together officially. She is my wife. You are my brother. I am your dying brother who found the person he wants to spend his last days with. Can't you understand that? Can't you give me this one thing? I told him to get out. He left. Sarah was waiting in the living room, clearly knew what Tyler was telling me. We need to talk, she said. Did you sleep with him? Number, I wouldn't cross that line while we're still married, but I want a divorce. Tyler and I love each other. He doesn't have much time left. The doctor said he might be in remission soon. Or he might relapse tomorrow. Either way, I want to spend whatever time he is being his partner. Not his sister-in-law. His partner. You are supposed to be my partner. I was for 7 years. And I did love you. But what Tyler and I have, it is different. It is deeper. Maybe it is because of the circumstances, the intensity of everything we've been through together. But it is real. And I am not going to ignore it. She filed for divorce the next week, moved Tyler into an apartment, moved in with him. I was left in our house, surrounded by reminders of the wife who'd fallen in love with my dying brother while I worked 60 hours a week to pay for his treatment. The divorce was brutal. Sarah wanted half of everything, including my retirement accounts. The house equity, all of it. Her lawyer argued she'd sacrificed her career to be Tyler's caregiver, deserved compensation for her unpaid labor. My lawyer argued she'd been having an emotional affair, violated her marriage vows. It didn't matter. California is no fault. She got half. Tyler's cancer went into full remission 8 months after he moved out. Full remission, the tumors were gone. His body had somehow fought off stage 4 pancreatic cancer with a survival rate of less than 5%. He was cancer-free, he was going to live. And he was living with my ex-wife in an apartment I partially funded through the divorce settlement, building the life he'd stolen from me. They sent me a Christmas card that first year. A photo of them smiling, arms around each other. Caption, grateful for miracles and second chances. I burned it. My family. Aunts, uncles, cousins were divided. Some thought Sarah and Tyler had fallen in love under impossible circumstances and deserved happiness. Others thought they'd betrayed me in the worst possible way. Nobody quite knew how to handle it. Family gatherings became impossible. I stopped going. Let Tyler have them. Let him explain to everyone why his brother wasn't there anymore. 2 years passed. I rebuilt my life slowly. Therapy helped. Dating was hard. How do you explain that your wife left you for your terminal brother, who then didn't die? But I managed. I found some peace. Started thinking maybe I could move on. Then Tyler called. We need to talk. No, we don't. Please, this is important. It is about Sarah. I hung up. He called back, left voicemails. Sent emails, finally showed up at my office. What do you want? I asked. Sarah lost her job. Graphic design firm downsized. She's been looking for 3 months. Nothing yet. We're burning through savings. And my medical bills, even with remission, the monitoring, the scans, the medications, to prevent recurrence, it is expensive. We need help. Get a job. I am trying. But nobody wants to hire someone with my medical history. And we were hoping family helps family. You helped me when I was dying. Can you help us now that I am living? You stole my wife. I fell in love during the worst time of my life. She fell in love caring for me. We didn't plan it. But we're family. You and me. That doesn't change. It changed the second you decided your feelings mattered more than my marriage. I was dying. I thought I had months left. Can you really blame me for wanting to spend them with someone I loved? You are not dying anymore. You've been in remission for 2 years. You are fine, and you are still with her. This isn't about terminal illness. This is about you choosing her over me. I am choosing my partner, the woman I love, who took care of me when I needed it most, using my money, in the house I paid for, while I worked to keep your insurance active. Tyler looked exhausted, defeated. I know I hurt you. I know I can't fix that. But I am asking, begging for help, not for me. For Sarah, she doesn't deserve to suffer because we fell in love. She made her choice. You both did. Live with it. He left. A week later, Sarah called. I almost didn't answer. Please don't hang up, she said immediately. What do you want? Tyler told you we're struggling. I know you have every right to hate me, to hate us both. But I am asking you to consider helping. Not because you owe us anything, but because Tyler is still your brother. And I was your wife for 7 years. Those years mattered. We mattered. That doesn't disappear because we made complicated choices. Complicated choices? You mean fucking my brother. We never slept together while I was married to you, I swear. We waited until the divorce was final. Congratulations on your moral high ground. You emotionally cheated instead of physically. Much better. I am not asking for forgiveness. I am asking for compassion. We need help. Financially, just until we get back on our feet. Why would I give you money? Because Tyler almost died. Because you loved him once. Because maybe, somewhere deep down, you still do. He is your brother. And brothers take care of each other. He stopped being my brother when he decided my wife was more important than our relationship. He was dying. He thought he had months. Can't you understand that context? He is not dying now. He hasn't been dying for 2 years. This isn't about terminal illness anymore. This is about you two deciding your happiness matters more than the family you destroyed. Sarah was crying. We didn't mean to destroy anything. We fell in love. Sometimes that is messy. Sometimes people get hurt, but it was real. It is real, and we're asking family because Tyler is still your family to help us through a hard time. Family doesn't steal each other's wives. Family also doesn't abandon each other when they need help. I hung up, blocked her number. Blocked Tyler's number, changed my email. I was done. They'd made their choices. They could live with the consequences. My aunt called me last week. Tyler's aunt too. Our mother's sister. Tyler and Sarah are asking family for money, she said. They told us you refused to help, that you are holding a grudge over their relationship. A grudge, they call it a grudge. They're saying you are bitter Tyler survived, that you wanted him to die so you could have your wife back. That is insane. I know what they did. But Tyler is also saying he is afraid of relapse. That stress could trigger cancer again. That financial stress is literally threatening his life. He is guilting the entire family. Let him. Some relatives are giving them money because they don't know the full story, because Tyler's playing the cancer survivor card. Then they're idiots. Or their family who want to believe the best about people they love. I don't know what I am supposed to do here. My brother stole my wife. They built a life together using my money, my goodwill, my family. Now they want more because times are tough. Because family should help family, because Tyler's playing the same victim card he played when he convinced my wife to leave me. Part of me wants to let them drown. Suffer the consequences of their choices. Feel what it is like to lose something, because someone else decided they deserved it more. Part of me worries I am becoming bitter. That holding on to this anger is destroying me more than them. That maybe my aunt is right. Maybe I do wish Tyler had died so I wouldn't have to watch him live happily with my ex-wife. But mostly I am just tired. Tired of being the villain in their story, the bitter ex-husband who can't move on. The unforgiving brother who holds grudges. They rewrote history, where they're the victims who fell in love during a tragedy, and I am the obstacle keeping them from happiness. They destroyed my marriage, my family, my trust in the people I loved most, and now they want my money too. Because family helps family, because cancer survival is expensive, because I should be grateful Tyler is alive. I am not grateful. I am angry, and I am not helping them. They can figure out their own financial problems. The same way I figured out how to survive my wife leaving me for my dying brother who then didn't die. Family helps family, but they stopped being my family the day they chose each other over me. Story 7, Reddit relationship nightmare, fiancé making me adopt her affair baby 2 weeks ago. My fiancé came back from a girl's trip to Vegas and told me she is pregnant. We'd been engaged for 8 months, together for 3 years total. I should have been happy, except we hadn't had sex in 6 weeks because of her work stress and my travel schedule. She is 6 weeks pregnant. The math doesn't work. When I pointed this out, she broke down crying and confessed she slept with someone in Vegas. A stranger. One night, she doesn't even remember his name, and now she wants me to marry her anyway, raise the baby as mine, and put this mistake behind us for the sake of our family. Her parents agree. My parents think I am insane for even considering it. I don't know what to do. This is the woman I was supposed to marry next summer, and now she is pregnant with another man's baby and expecting me to just accept it. Chapter 1, my fiancée's name is Jessica. We met through mutual friends 3 years ago, started dating seriously after about 6 months. She is smart, funny, ambitious, worked in marketing, always had a million projects going, the kind of person who made life exciting. We moved in together after a year, got engaged 8 months ago. The wedding was planned for next June. Venue booked, deposits paid, invitations designed. Everything was on track. The Vegas trip was supposed to be her bachelorette party. Sort of, not the official one that was planned for closer to the wedding, but a pre-bachelorette celebration with her college friends, 5 days in Vegas, shows, clubbing, pool parties. I was fine with it. We trusted each other. I'd had my bachelor party equivalent earlier in the year. Weekend golf trip with my friends, no issues. Jessica left on a Wednesday, came home Sunday night. She seemed off when she got back, quiet, distracted. I figured she was exhausted from partying and traveling. She went to bed early. Over the next few days, she was withdrawn, barely ate, seemed nauseous. Spent a lot of time in the bathroom. I assumed she'd caught something in Vegas, food poisoning, or a bug. After a week of this, I insisted she see a doctor. She refused, said she was fine. Just tired, but she wasn't fine. She was clearly sick, losing weight, looking pale. Finally, I said I was making her an appointment, whether she wanted one or not. That is when she broke down. I need to tell you something, she said. We were in the living room. Sunday afternoon, I'd just gotten home from the gym. She was sitting on the couch in my old sweatshirt, eyes red like she'd been crying. What is wrong? Are you sick? I am pregnant. The world stopped pregnant. We talked about kids, wanted them eventually, after the wedding, after we were more financially stable. But not yet, not now. But accidents happen, right? Birth control fails. We'd been together 3 years. We were engaged. This was just early, surprising, but manageable. Okay, I said, sitting next to her. Okay? That is, we'll figure it out. When did you find out? This morning. I took a test, 3 tests actually, all positive. How far along? I don't know exactly. 6 weeks maybe. 6 weeks? I started counting back. We'd been busy lately. Work had me traveling. She'd had that big campaign launch. When was the last time we'd had sex? Before her Vegas trip, definitely. Maybe 2 weeks before. Which would make it 8 weeks ago. Jess, if you are 6 weeks pregnant, the conception would have been 6 weeks ago. We haven't had sex in at least 2 months. Her face crumbled. I know. The words hung there. I know. Not the dates must be wrong, or maybe I am further along than I thought. Just I know. What do you mean you know? In Vegas, something happened. I got really drunk one night. I don't remember most of it, but I woke up in a hotel room that wasn't ours. There was a guy. I don't know his name. I barely remember his face. But I cheated on you, and now I am pregnant. I stood up, walked away from her. Couldn't look at her. My fiancée, the woman I was supposed to marry in 8 months. She'd slept with a stranger in Vegas and gotten pregnant with his baby. You cheated on me. It was a mistake. I was so drunk I barely remember it. It didn't mean anything. You are pregnant with another man's child. I know. And I am so, so sorry. But we can get through this. We love each other. We're getting married. We can raise this baby together. It doesn't have to change anything. I laughed, this horrible broken sound. It doesn't have to change anything. You want me to raise another man's baby, to pretend it is mine. It could be yours. We don't know for sure. We do know. We know the dates. We know you fucked someone in Vegas. We know I am not the father. Jessica was sobbing now. Please don't say it like that. Please. I made a terrible mistake. I was drunk and stupid and I regret it so much. But I love you. I want to marry you. I want us to have a family. This baby could be ours if we decide it is. That is not how biology works. But it is how love works. You'd be the father. You'd raise this child. Love this child. That is what matters, not whose DNA it has. I left. Went to my brother's house. Stayed there for 2 days. Couldn't think straight. Couldn't process what she'd told me. My fiancée cheated on me during her bachelorette trip and got pregnant with a stranger's baby. And she expected me to just accept it, raise the child as mine, move forward like nothing happened. Jessica called and texted constantly, apologizing, begging me to come home, saying we could work through this. Her friends texted too, the same friends who'd been in Vegas with her. She is devastated. She made a mistake. Don't throw away 3 years over one drunk night. One drunk night that resulted in a pregnancy. One drunk night that destroyed our entire future. One drunk night she barely remembered, but definitely remembered enough to know she'd cheated. On the 3rd day, her parents called her mother. We need to talk about this situation maturely, she said. No greeting, no sympathy for me. Jessica made a mistake, yes, but she is pregnant now. That baby needs a father. You are engaged to her. You committed to building a life together. This is part of that life. The baby isn't mine. Biology isn't everything. Plenty of men raise children who aren't biologically theirs. Stepfathers, adoptive fathers. Love is what makes a father, not genetics. She cheated on me. She made a drunken mistake one time, in 3 years of an otherwise faithful relationship. Are you really going to throw away your future over one night? She is carrying another man's child. She is carrying a baby that will be raised by whoever chooses to love it. That could be you. You love Jessica. You were going to marry her. That doesn't have to change. Everything has changed. Only if you let it. Jessica is willing to move forward. We're willing to support you both. This baby could be a blessing. An unexpected start to the family you were planning anyway. You just have to be man enough to accept it. Man enough. Like accepting my fiancé's affair baby was about masculinity instead of basic self-respect. Jessica's father called next. More of the same. My daughter made a mistake. She is young. She got drunk. These things happen. But she loves you. She chose you. She wants to marry you and build a life with you. Don't abandon her when she needs you most. She abandoned our relationship when she slept with someone else. It was one night, one mistake. You are going to hold that over her forever. She is pregnant. It is not just a mistake I can forget. There is going to be a child, a constant reminder of what she did. A child you could love, a child who could be yours in every way that matters. I hung up on him. Then my own parents called. They'd heard from Jessica's parents. Apparently, the families had been in contact trying to coordinate some kind of intervention. Do not marry this woman, my mother said immediately. Do not raise another man's child. This is insane. Everyone has lost their minds. My father agreed. She cheated. She got pregnant. Those are consequences of her actions. You are not responsible for fixing this. Her parents think I am being unreasonable. Her parents are trying to salvage their daughter's reputation and her engagement. They don't care about you. They care about Jessica, not being a single mother with an affair baby. That phrase, affair baby, that is what it was. The product of my fiancé's affair, not a drunken mistake. Not an accident, an affair. Even if it was one night, even if she didn't remember his name, she'd had an affair, and gotten pregnant, and expected me to solve the problem by pretending the baby was mine. I went home a week after Jessica told me. She'd been staying at her parents' house, giving me space. The apartment was quiet, empty. I sat in our bedroom, the bedroom we'd shared, where we'd talked about our future, where we'd been happy, and tried to figure out what I wanted. I loved Jessica past tense, present tense, I didn't know anymore. I'd loved her, the her from 2 weeks ago before she told me she'd cheated, before she got pregnant with someone else's baby. But who was she now? The woman who'd gotten drunk and slept with a stranger? The woman who wanted me to raise another man's child? The woman whose parents were pressuring me to man up and accept a situation I never asked for? Jessica came home that evening. We'd agreed to talk. She looked terrible, pale, thin, exhausted. Pregnancy was clearly hitting her hard, or guilt, or both. I am sorry, she started. I am so sorry. I don't know how many times I can say it, but I mean it. I fucked up. I destroyed your trust. I destroyed our future. And I understand if you can't forgive me. I don't know if I can. But I am hoping you'll try. I am hoping we can get past this. See a therapist, work through it, rebuild what we had, because I love you. I want to marry you. I want us to have the life we planned. With a baby that isn't mine. With a baby we could raise together. A baby you could love as your own. Lots of couples deal with infidelity and survive. This is just more complicated because there is a pregnancy. But the foundation is the same: love, commitment, forgiveness. You are asking me to forgive you for cheating and raise the product of that cheating. Do you understand how insane that sounds? I understand it is hard. But people do it. Blended families exist. Adoption exists. Love is what makes a family, not biology. This isn't adoption. This isn't a blended family. This is you asking me to pretend your affair never happened while raising constant evidence that it did. Jessica started crying again. I can't undo what happened. I wish I could. I wish I'd never gone to Vegas, never gotten drunk, never made that stupid, awful decision. But I did. And now there is a baby. And that baby deserves a father. You could be that father. You could love this child. I know you could. You are a good man. That is why I fell in love with you. That is why I know you could do this. If you chose to. What about the biological father? I don't know who he is. I barely remember him. We used first names only, probably fake. I don't have his contact information. He doesn't know I am pregnant. He'll never be involved. So you want me to be the father because the actual father is unavailable. I want you to be the father because I love you and I want to marry you and build a life with you. The circumstances aren't ideal, but we could make it work. We could be happy. This baby could be ours. I looked at her. This woman I'd planned to marry, who I'd imagined having children with someday, our children, biologically, intentionally, when we were ready. Not like this. Not with another man's DNA. Not with the constant knowledge that she'd betrayed me. I need more time, I said. How much time? I don't know. But I can't make this decision right now. I can't commit to raising your affair baby when I am still processing that you had an affair. She flinched at affair baby. Good. She should flinch. She should feel the weight of what she'd done. What she was asking of me. That was a week ago. Jessica is still staying at her parents' house. The wedding is supposed to be in 7 months. Invitations are supposed to go out soon. Her family is pressuring me to make a decision. My family is pressuring me to leave. My friends are divided. Some say everyone makes mistakes. Some say this is unforgivable. I don't know what to do. I love her, or I loved her, or I love the version of her I thought existed before Vegas. But can I raise another man's child? Can I look at that baby every day and not think about what she did? Can I trust her again after this? And if I leave, what happens to Jessica? She becomes a single mother with an affair baby, exactly what her parents are desperate to avoid. She'll struggle financially, emotionally. The baby will grow up without a father. Is that my responsibility to prevent? Or is that the consequence of her actions? Part of me wants to be the hero, the good man who forgives and loves unconditionally, who proves that family is about choice, not biology, who raises this child and makes everything okay. Part of me knows that is not heroism. That is martyrdom, sacrificing my own needs, my own pain, my own future to solve a problem Jessica created. I'd spend the rest of my life being the man who was too weak to leave, the cuckold who raised another man's baby because he couldn't do better. I don't know which version of me I want to be, but I know this. Whatever I decide, I am losing something. If I stay, I lose my self-respect. If I leave, I lose the woman I planned to marry and the future we were building. There is no good answer here, just different types of pain, and I have to choose which pain I can live with. Story 8, Reddit forbidden relationship. Dating my ex's dad after she died my girlfriend. Emma died 2 years ago in a car accident. She was 25. I was 27. We'd been together for 3 years, talking about getting engaged. Her death destroyed me. Her father, Michael, was destroyed too. She was his only daughter. We grieved together Saturday in silence at her grave. Shared memories, he became my closest friend during the worst period of my life, and then slowly friendship became something else. Something neither of us expected or wanted but couldn't deny. We're in love. I am 29. He is 52. I am dating my dead girlfriend's father. Her mother has disowned him. Her siblings refuse to speak to either of us. Their entire family says we're sick, disgusting, betraying Emma's memory. Maybe they're right, but I love him, and he loves me, and we don't know what to do. Chapter 1, Emma and I met in college. We dated through our final years, stayed together after graduation. Moved in together when we both got jobs in the city. She was vibrant, funny, passionate about social justice work. She worked for a nonprofit, I was in tech. We were building a life together. Marriage was the obvious next step. I'd started looking at rings. Then a drunk driver ran a red light. Emma was driving home from a work event. The impact killed her instantly. She was 20. 5 years old, we'd had dinner reservations that night. I was waiting for her at the restaurant when the police called. The funeral was the worst day of my life. Emma's parents, Michael and Patricia, were shattered. Michael couldn't stop crying. Patricia was catatonic. Emma's 2 brothers were angry, looking for someone to blame. The drunk driver was in jail, but that didn't bring Emma back. Nothing would bring her back. I didn't know how to grieve. I'd never lost anyone like this. My parents tried to help, but they hadn't known Emma the way I had. They hadn't loved her. Emma's parents understood. Michael especially, he'd lost his daughter. I'd lost my partner, we had different relationships to Emma, but the same void where she used to be. Michael started visiting me about a month after the funeral, just checking in, bringing food, sitting quietly. Sometimes we'd talk about Emma, sometimes we'd sit in silence. It helped. My friends meant well, but they didn't understand. Michael did, he was living the same nightmare. We started meeting regularly, coffee once a week, then twice a week, then almost daily. He was retired military living on a pension, had too much time to think about Emma. I was working from home, isolated, barely functioning. We needed each other, platonically, 2 people drowning and holding each other above water. Patricia didn't come to these meetings. She was grieving differently. Privately, with her church, with her other children, she told Michael she was glad he had support, that she was happy we were helping each other. She didn't see how close we were becoming. Neither did I at first. 6 months after Emma died, Michael and I started going to the cemetery together. We'd sit by her grave, talk to her, leave flowers. Sometimes I'd cry, sometimes he'd cry, sometimes we'd both just sit there, existing in proximity to the person we'd both loved. There was comfort in it, a shared grief that nobody else could understand. One day, maybe 8 months after Emma's death, we were leaving the cemetery and Michael started crying. Not quiet tears, sobbing. He pulled over to the side of the road, couldn't drive. I'd never seen him that broken. I held him while he cried, this 50-year-old man who'd served in war, who'd raised 3 children, who'd always been strong, falling apart in the front seat of his car. I can't do this anymore, he said. I can't live without her. She was my daughter, my baby girl, and she is gone, and I don't know how to exist in a world where she doesn't. I know. I said, I know. You are the only person who understands. Patricia tries, but she doesn't feel it the way I do. The boys don't understand. But you loved her like I loved her. You miss her like I miss her. I do. We stayed there for an hour, holding each other, crying together, and something shifted. I felt it but didn't acknowledge it. A closeness that was more than grief. A connection that wasn't just about Emma anymore. It was about us, Michael and me. 2 people who'd found each other in the aftermath of losing the same person. A year after Emma died, continue 1305, Michael and I were spending most of our time together. Dinners at his house. Movies at my apartment. We'd gone on a weekend trip to the mountains, a grief retreat. We called it, though it felt more like a vacation. Patricia thought it was strange, mentioned to Michael that maybe he was depending on me too much, that maybe we should both try to move on. He told her I understood him better than she did. That caused their first real fight. I started noticing things about Michael I'd ignored before. How patient he was. How kind. The way he listened without judgment. The way he looked at me sometimes when he thought I wasn't paying attention. I was noticing him not as Emma's father. Not as a father figure, as a man I was attracted to. That terrified me. I pushed the feelings down. This was grief. I told myself transference. I was latching on to the one person who understood my pain. It didn't mean anything. It couldn't mean anything. He was 51 years old. He was Emma's father. Whatever I was feeling wasn't real. It was just complicated grief. Michael pulled away around the same time, stopped texting as much, canceled a few of our planned dinners. I assumed he needed space, that his wife had asked him to focus on their marriage. I tried to respect that. Tried not to feel abandoned, but I missed him desperately, in ways that had nothing to do with Emma. 2 weeks into the distance, Michael showed up at my apartment late at night. He looked terrible. Can I come in? Of course. We sat on my couch. He wouldn't look at me. Finally, I need to tell you something. And you are going to think I am disgusting, probably hate me. But I can't keep lying to myself or to you. My heart was racing. What is it? I am in love with you. The words hung in the air. I am in love with you. Michael, my dead girlfriend's father, 23 years older than me, was in love with me. I know it is wrong, he continued. I know it is inappropriate and probably sick. You are my daughter's boyfriend. You are young enough to be my son. But I can't help it spending time with you this past year. You've become the most important person in my life. And somewhere along the way, grief turned into something else, something I never expected or wanted. But I can't deny it anymore. I love you. I couldn't speak, couldn't process. Michael was standing up, leaving. I am sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I'll give you space, forget, I said. I love you too. He stopped, turned back. What? I love you. I've been trying not to. Trying to convince myself it was just grief or transference or anything other than what it is. But I am in love with you. We sat there staring at each other, two people who'd bonded through loss, who'd become each other's lifeline, who'd fallen in love in the worst possible way, at the worst possible time. We didn't touch, didn't act on it, just acknowledged it. The impossible, inappropriate truth. This can't happen, Michael said. You know that, right? We can't act on this, Emma. Emma's gone. She is my daughter. You loved her. I loved her. We can't betray her memory like this. Is it betrayal if we found something real, if we're helping each other survive? It feels like betrayal. Everything feels like betrayal. Laughing feels like betrayal. Being happy for a moment feels like betrayal. Living feels like betrayal. But we are living. We're still here. And we found each other in the grief. Is that wrong? Michael sat back down. People will judge us. Harshly. Patricia will never understand. The boys will hate me. Your family will think I am a predator. Everyone will think we're sick. Maybe we are sick. Maybe this is trauma bonding or inappropriate grief processing or any number of psychological issues. But it is also real. What I feel for you is real. You are 28 years old. You should be dating someone your age. Starting fresh. Not tying yourself to a 51-year-old widower who is your dead girlfriend's father. I don't want someone my age. I don't want to start fresh. I want you. We didn't kiss that night, but we held each other, crossed a line by admitting the truth even if we didn't act on it. And we both knew there was no going back. We could deny it, suppress it. But we couldn't unknow what we'd confessed. For 2 months we tried to stay platonic, met in public places, kept physical distance. But the emotional intimacy was there. The love was there. Fighting it felt like drowning. And finally, on what would have been Emma's 26th birthday, we stopped fighting. We'd gone to the cemetery together. Left flowers, talked to her grave, then went back to Michael's house. Patricia was visiting her sister for the week. We sat in his living room, surrounded by photos of Emma, and Michael said, I can't keep pretending. I am too old to waste time pretending. I don't love you. Then don't pretend. If we do this, if we cross this line, there is no going back. My family will implode. Your family will judge you. The world will think we're disgusting. Are you sure you want that? I am sure I want you. We kissed, made love in Emma's childhood home, surrounded by memories of her. It should have felt wrong. It should have felt like a betrayal, but it felt right. It felt like the first time I'd been truly present since Emma died. Like I was finally allowed to live again. We kept the relationship secret for 6 months. Patricia didn't know. Emma's brothers didn't know. My family didn't know. We'd meet at my apartment or take trips out of town. We existed in a bubble where nobody judged us. Nobody knew the impossible truth of what we were to each other. Then Patricia found texts on Michael's phone. Love texts. Plans to meet. References to intimacy. She confronted him. He couldn't lie. Told her everything. She called him sick, disgusting. Accused him of replacing Emma with her boyfriend. Of being a predator. Of having probably been attracted to me even while Emma was alive. A horrible accusation he vehemently denied, but she wouldn't stop making. She filed for divorce, told their sons, told Emma's extended family, told my parents. Within a week, everyone knew, and everyone had opinions, loud, angry, judgmental opinions. Emma's brothers called me, left messages saying I was sick, perverted, that I destroyed their family, that I was dishonoring their sister's memory. My own family was horrified. My mother cried. My father said I needed therapy. Friends stopped calling. Social media erupted when someone posted about it, not naming us directly, but clearly about us. Man dates dead girlfriend's father went viral in our social circles. Michael and I were both outcasts. His family disowned him. His friends turned away. He lost his church community. Patricia filed for full custody of their shared assets. tried to paint him as mentally unstable in divorce proceedings. She weaponized Emma's death, argued that Michael had experienced a breakdown, and attached himself inappropriately to me as a replacement daughter figure that then became sexual. My parents tried an intervention, hired a therapist to explain trauma bonding and inappropriate grief responses. The therapist listened to our story, then gently said that while our relationship was unconventional, she couldn't determine it was pathological. Sometimes grief creates unusual connections, she said. If both of you are consenting adults finding genuine comfort and love in each other, that is not inherently wrong. Socially complicated, yes, but not wrong. My parents didn't accept that. They wanted me to end it, to see that I was making a mistake, that Michael was too old, that the relationship was based on shared trauma, that I was destroying my life and his family's peace. But I love him. That is the truth nobody wants to hear. I love Michael not because he is Emma's father, not because we're bonded by grief, but because he is kind, patient, understands me in ways nobody else does. Because when I am with him, I feel seen, loved. Like I am allowed to be happy again without betraying Emma's memory. Is it wrong? Maybe, probably. Society says it is. Emma's family says it is. My family says it is. Everyone says it is. But when I am with Michael, when we're together in private, away from judgment and anger, it doesn't feel wrong. It feels like the only right thing in a world that has been wrong since Emma died. We're still together. Living separately because Patricia's lawyers are trying to take the house, Michael lost most of his family. I lost mine. We have each other. And the constant question, is that enough? Is love enough when the entire world tells you it is wrong? I don't have an answer. I just know that Michael makes me happy, that we help each other survive, that Emma would want us to be happy, maybe not together. Maybe she'd be horrified, but she'd want us to live, to not drown in the grief that consumed us both. We visit her grave together still. We talk to her. We tell her we're sorry if we're disappointing her. We tell her we love her. We tell her we're trying to live. And we hope desperately, impossibly, that somewhere, somehow. She understands because if she doesn't, if Emma is watching and judging and hurting because of us, then everything everyone says is true. We're betraying her, we're sick, we're wrong. But if there is any chance she wants us to be happy, wants her father and her boyfriend to find peace together after losing her, then maybe, just maybe, this is okay. I don't know. I'll never know, but I love him, and he loves me. And right now, that is all we have. Story 9, Reddit emotional blackmail. Sister using dead parents against me. My parents died in a house fire 6 years ago. My sister and I were both home. I was 19. She was 22. She made it out. They didn't. The investigation ruled it accidental. Faulty wiring. For 6 years, I've carried guilt for surviving while they didn't. My sister has used that guilt masterfully. Every time I try to set boundaries, she invokes our parents. Mom would want you to help me. Dad would be ashamed you are being selfish. They died trying to save us. We owe it to them to take care of each other. I've given her thousands of dollars, helped her through failed businesses, supported her emotionally through every crisis. Until last week when I found her old journal in her storage unit and discovered she started the fire. On purpose, she killed our parents and then spent 6 years using their memory to control me. Chapter 1. The fire happened on the 14th of March, 6 years ago. I was home from college for spring break. My sister Katie was living at home after dropping out of her second year at a different university. Our parents were asleep. I was asleep. Katie was supposedly asleep. At 2:47 a.m., I woke to smoke and heat. The house was on fire. I barely made it out. Crawled through smoke, jumped from a second-story window into the bushes below. Katie was already outside, screaming, "Mom and Dad are still in there." She tried to run back in. Neighbors held her back. By the time firefighters arrived, it was too late. Our parents died of smoke inhalation in their bedroom. The fire had started in the garage. Investigators said spread quickly. Faulty electrical wiring was the probable cause. We were devastated. I was 19. Suddenly an orphan. Katie was 22, legally an adult but barely functioning. We inherited the house, or what was left of it, and the insurance money. We were supposed to rebuild together, support each other through grief. Instead, Katie fell apart, and I became her caretaker. She couldn't hold jobs, couldn't pay bills, developed anxiety and depression, understandable given the trauma. I used my inheritance to support her while I finished college. Paid her rent, bought her groceries, listened to her cry about Mom and Dad for hours. Went to therapy with her, did everything I could to help her heal. She started using their memory against me about a year after the fire. I tried to set a boundary, told her I couldn't afford to pay her rent and mine, that she needed to find work. She said Mom would never let me become homeless. She'd want us to take care of each other. I felt guilty. Mom would have wanted us to stay close, to help each other. So I kept paying. This pattern repeated for years. Every boundary I tried to set, Katie invoked our parents. When I got engaged to my girlfriend and wanted to move out of state for her job, Katie said, "Dad always said family comes first. You are abandoning me." I almost broke off the engagement. My girlfriend convinced me we could compromise, move but stay close enough that Katie could visit. Katie came to visit constantly, always in crisis, always needing help. When Katie started her first business, a boutique clothing store, she asked me to invest. I was skeptical. She had no business experience, but she said, "Mom always believed in following your dreams. She'd want you to support mine." I invested $30,000 of my remaining inheritance. The business failed within a year. Katie blamed the economy, bad luck, circumstances beyond her control. I forgave the debt. What choice did I have? Family helps family. The second business was a wellness center. More money invested. Another failure. Katie was devastated, blamed herself, talked about how mom and dad would be disappointed in her. I comforted her, told her they'd be proud she tried, gave her more money to get back on her feet. She moved into a nicer apartment than I could afford. Said the nice space helped her mental health. I paid the difference in rent for 6 months. My wife, we'd gotten married despite Katie's manipulation. Finally put her foot down 3 years ago. She is using you, Sarah said. She is using your parents' memory to guilt you into supporting her. This isn't grief. This is manipulation. I defended Katie. You don't understand. She was there when they died. She is traumatized. She needs me. So were you. You were there too. You are traumatized too, but you are not using it to manipulate people. You are not invoking your dead parents every time someone asks you to be responsible for yourself. I couldn't hear it. Sarah didn't understand Katie's pain. The bond we had as survivors. Katie was my sister, my only family. Of course I'd help her. It is what mom and dad would have wanted. Sarah and I almost divorced over it. She was tired of Katie's constant crises, the financial drain, the emotional manipulation. I was torn between my wife and my sister. Katie, sensing the conflict, doubled down. They wouldn't want you to abandon me for a woman, she'd say. Family is supposed to be forever. Marriage can end. We're blood. Last month, Katie called in another crisis. Her landlord was evicting her behind on rent. Despite the fact that I'd been sending her money every month, she needed a place to stay. Could she move into our spare bedroom, just temporarily, until she figured things out? Sarah said absolutely not. She will never leave. She will take over our lives. I can't do this anymore. I was stuck between them again. Katie was crying on the phone. Mom and dad would let me stay with them. They'd never make me homeless. I am your sister. I have nobody else, please. Sarah gave me an ultimatum. If Katie moves in, I am leaving. Choose. I chose Sarah, told Katie she couldn't stay with us, but I'd help her find a place and pay first month's rent. Katie exploded. Screamed that I was betraying our parents' memory, that I was choosing some woman over my own blood, that mom and dad would be ashamed of me. She hung up, didn't speak to me for 2 weeks. During Katie's silence, I started packing up some of her belongings she'd left in our garage boxes from when she'd moved out of previous apartments. Storage she'd asked us to keep. Sarah insisted we couldn't keep storing her stuff indefinitely. As I sorted through boxes, I found an old journal, Katie's handwriting. Dated from 6 years ago. Around the time of the fire, I shouldn't have read it. It was private. But something made me open it. Maybe curiosity. Maybe Sarah's voice in my head saying Katie was manipulative. Maybe just the quiet question I'd never allowed myself to ask, why was Katie already outside when I woke up? Why was she dressed, fully alert? While I barely escaped, the entries started normal. Katie complaining about being back home, feeling like a failure for dropping out of school, fighting with mom and dad about her lack of direction. Then entries about money. Mom and dad refused to keep funding her lifestyle, said she needed to get a job, be responsible. Katie was furious. They have insurance money and savings and they won't help me. They don't care about me. They only care about perfect golden child, meaning me. I'd stayed in school, was doing well. Then 2 weeks before the fire, I've been researching house fires, how they start, what causes them. Faulty wiring is the most common accidental cause. Easy to fake if you know what you are doing. Mom and dad have life insurance. The house has insurance. If something happened to them, everything would go to me in my name. I'd finally have money. Freedom, nobody controlling me. My hands shook. I kept reading. 1 week before the fire, I've been watching YouTube videos on electrical fires. It is easier than I thought. You just need to create a short in the right place. The garage has old wiring. It would look completely accidental. I am not saying I am going to do it, but I could if I wanted to, if I needed to. The day before the fire, I can't live like this anymore. Mom and dad are suffocating me. Nothing I do is good enough. They're holding me back. The insurance money would solve everything. I could start over, be free. My name would understand. We'd have each other. We'd take care of each other. It is not murder if it is an accident. The night of the fire, I did it. I can't believe I did it, but I did it. Started the short in the garage wiring, exactly like the videos showed. Set it up to trigger overnight. It worked. The house is on fire. I got out. My name got out. Mom and dad didn't. I didn't think they wouldn't wake up. I thought they'd get out too. But they didn't. They didn't wake up, and now they're dead. And it is my fault, but also it is not because it was an accident. Faulty wiring. That is what they'll think. That is what it was. An accident. I stopped reading. Dropped the journal. Couldn't breathe. My sister killed our parents for insurance money, for freedom, for control, then spent 6 years using their memory to manipulate me, to guilt me into supporting her, to make me feel like I owed her something, when she was the reason they were dead. I confronted her, showed up at her apartment with the journal. She saw it and her face went white. Where did you find that? Your storage boxes, you killed them, Katie. You killed Mom and Dad for money. She started crying, the same crying she'd done for 6 years when she needed something. It was an accident. I didn't mean for them to die. I needed to be free. They were controlling me, suffocating me, and when the fire happened, they were supposed to wake up, supposed to get out. It is not my fault they didn't. You started the fire, you murdered them. It was an accident. The wiring was supposed to look faulty. I didn't mean for anyone to die. Just the house to have enough damage that we'd get insurance money. They weren't supposed to be in there, they were supposed to get out like we did. You've spent 6 years using their memory to manipulate me, making me feel guilty for surviving, making me think I owed you something. All while you killed them. I've been living with the guilt every day. I didn't mean for it to happen. And yes, I used their memory because I knew you'd help me if I did. I knew you'd take care of me if I made you think it is what they'd want. But I needed you. I needed someone to help me survive after what I did. You don't get to play victim. You murdered our parents and then gaslit me for 6 years. Katie's face shifted. The tears stopped. The manipulation dropped. She looked at me with cold clarity I'd never seen before. And what are you going to do about it? Turn me in. The case is closed. It was ruled accidental. You have no proof except a journal that could be called creative writing or trauma processing. And if you try to expose me, I'll tell everyone you've been abusing me financially, that you've been controlling me using guilt about their death. Who do you think people will believe? The grieving sister who has been struggling, or the brother who has been financially supporting her, controlling her for years? I left, called my wife, called a lawyer. The lawyer said Katie was right. The journal alone might not be enough to reopen the case. It could be argued as fiction processing, not a literal confession. The statute of limitations on some related charges might have passed, and Katie could claim emotional distress, that I was manipulating the narrative, but I reported it anyway, gave the journal to the police. They're investigating, reopening the fire case, looking at the evidence with new eyes. Katie will likely face charges if they can prove anything. Arson, manslaughter, maybe murder depending on intent and state law. Katie has been calling constantly. Threatening me, begging me, trying every manipulation tactic she used for 6 years. Mom and Dad wouldn't want you to destroy our family. I am your sister. We're all we have left. You are going to send me to prison for an accident. The messages shifted between victim playing and threats. Sarah is relieved you finally saw her for what she is, she said. I am sorry it took this long. I am sorry it is this horrible, but at least you know the truth now. I don't feel relieved, I feel destroyed. My parents didn't die in an accident. My sister killed them, then used their memory to control me for 6 years. Every time I helped her, every time I gave her money, every time I let her manipulate me with Mom would want or Dad would be proud, I was helping the person who murdered them. I don't know if the investigation will result in charges. I don't know if Katie will go to prison or if she'll find a way to escape consequences like she has escaped them her whole life. But I know I am done being manipulated. Done carrying guilt for a fire I didn't start. Done letting Katie use our dead parents as weapons against me. She killed them. She stole 6 years of my life through manipulation, and now she is finally going to face what she did. I desperately hope that justice exists, that truth matters, that you can't kill your parents and manipulate your sibling and get away with it forever. But even if she doesn't face legal consequences, she has lost me. I am done. I am finally completely done. And for the first time since the fire, I can breathe without carrying her guilt. Story 10, Reddit wedding disaster. Groom left me at altar for the bridesmaid. I was standing at the altar in a $6,000 dress my parents had saved for years to buy. 200 guests filled the venue. My bridesmaid stood behind me, led by my best friend since kindergarten, my maid of honor. The officiant smiled and asked my fiancé, "Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?" He looked at me, looked at my maid of honor, looked back at me, and said, "I can't. I am sorry. I can't marry you." Then he turned to face the guests and said, "I am in love with someone else. I've been having an affair with her." He pointed at my maid of honor, my best friend, who was standing 3 feet away from me in a lavender bridesmaid dress I'd paid for, holding a bouquet I designed. She started crying. He started crying. I stood there in front of 200 people while my wedding imploded and my entire life disintegrated in real time. Chapter 1, his name was Alex. We met 4 years ago through mutual friends. He was charming, successful, exactly what I'd hoped for in a partner. We dated for 2 years, got engaged, spent another year planning the wedding. Everything seemed perfect. My best friend Melissa was ecstatic for me. "You are getting your fairy tale," she'd say. She helped with every detail of wedding planning, venue selection, dress shopping, flower arrangements. She was the perfect maid of honor. Melissa and I had been best friends for 22 years, met in kindergarten, grew up together, did everything together. She was closer to me than my own sister. When I got engaged, there was no question she'd be my maid of honor. She cried when I asked, said she was honored, said she'd make sure my wedding was perfect. Alex and Melissa got along great. Sometimes I joked they were too similar, both outgoing, both funny. Both the life of the party, while I was more reserved. They'd gang up on me playfully, tease me about being the boring one. I loved that they liked each other. It made everything easier. No tension between my partner and my best friend. No choosing sides. We'd all hang out together, movies, dinners, weekend trips. We were a perfect trio, looking back. I was blind or stupid or so desperate to believe in my perfect life that I ignored every red flag. The way they'd text constantly, the inside jokes I wasn't part of. How they'd always volunteer to run errands together during wedding planning. We'll pick up the centerpieces, we'll finalize the catering details. Always together, always finding excuses to be alone. The wedding was planned for Saturday, the 7th of June, outdoor ceremony at a vineyard. Reception under string lights. I dreamed about this day since I was a little girl. Everything was perfect. Venue perfect, guest list perfect. I was marrying the man I loved. Surrounded by everyone I cared about, with my best friend by my side. The morning of the wedding, Melissa helped me get ready. We drank champagne, took photos, laughed about old memories. She seemed nervous, kept checking her phone, but I assumed she was worried about maid of honor duties, making sure everything ran smoothly. She'd been so attentive throughout planning. Of course, she wanted everything perfect. "You look beautiful," she said when I was finally in my dress. "Alex is so lucky." "We're both lucky," I said. "I get to marry him, and I get you standing next to me, my two favorite people." She looked like she might cry. I thought it was happy tears. I was so stupid. The ceremony started at 4 p.m. I walked down the aisle to my father, holding my arm, guests standing, everyone smiling. Alex was at the altar looking handsome in his tux. My bridesmaids stood on my side, 4 of them, with Melissa closest to me as maid of honor. The groomsmen stood on Alex's side. Everything was perfect. The officiant began. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." I was floating. This was my dream. My fairy tale, the moment I'd waited for my entire life. Alex smiled at me. I smiled back. The officiant continued through the opening remarks, the meaning of marriage, the commitment we were making. Then came the vows. "Do you, Alex, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, as long as you both shall live?" Silence was supposed to say, "I do." We'd practiced this. We'd run through the ceremony twice. He was supposed to say, "I do," and then I'd say, "I do," and then we'd exchange rings and kiss and be married. That is how it was supposed to go. Instead, Alex looked at me, really looked at me, like he was seeing me for the first time. Then he looked past me, at Melissa, then back at me, and said, "I can't. The world stopped. I can't. Not I do. Not yes. Not anything that made sense in the moment. I can't." "What?" I whispered. "I am sorry." His voice cracked. "I am so sorry. I can't marry you." The guests murmured. My father, still standing beside me to give me away, said, "Son, what are you doing?" Alex turned to face the crowd, 200 people. My family, his family, our friends, distant relatives, co-workers, all of them watching. All of them waiting for this to make sense. He took a breath. "I am in love with someone else. I've been having an affair for the past 8 months. And I can't marry you when I am in love with her." Gasps. Someone screamed. I think it was my mother. My father grabbed my arm to keep me from collapsing. I stared at Alex. 8 months of planning this wedding, of picking flowers and tasting cakes and addressing invitations, while he was fucking someone else. "Who?" I asked. My voice didn't sound like mine. Alex turned and pointed. "Melissa. Melissa, my best friend, my maid of honor. The woman standing 3 feet away from me holding a bouquet I'd designed, wearing a dress I'd paid for." Burst into tears. Not guilty tears. Not ashamed tears. Relieved tears, like she'd been waiting for this moment. Like this confession was freeing. "I am sorry," she sobbed. "I didn't mean for this to happen. We didn't plan it. It just happened. And I couldn't tell you. I wanted to, but I couldn't move. Couldn't speak. Couldn't process what was happening. My fiancé just confessed to an affair with my best friend in front of 200 wedding guests. At the altar. During our ceremony, this couldn't be real. My mother was screaming, calling Alex and Melissa every horrible name she could think of. My father was holding me up because my legs had stopped working. The guests were in chaos, some yelling, some trying to leave, some just staring in shock. Alex kept talking. "I know this is the worst possible timing. I know I am destroying you, but I couldn't go through with the wedding. I couldn't stand at this altar and promise forever when I don't feel that way. I love Melissa. I want to be with her, and you deserve better than someone who is in love with someone else. You are doing this now." I finally found my voice. "You couldn't have told me yesterday. Last week, 8 months ago, when it started, I tried to tell you, multiple times, but I was scared. You were so happy about the wedding. You loved planning it. I didn't want to hurt you. So you waited until I was in my wedding dress, in front of everyone we know, to hurt me instead. Melissa was shaking. We didn't plan this, the confession. I mean, we were going to go through with the wedding. Let you get married, not say anything. But Alex couldn't do it. He couldn't lie to you anymore. How generous. He couldn't lie at the altar. But he could lie for 8 months while I planned our wedding, while we had sex, while I told him I loved him, while I talked about our future. All of that lying was fine. But this one specific moment, this was when his conscience kicked in. Alex started crying. I am sorry. God, I am so sorry. You are an amazing person. You deserve so much better than me. But I can't fake this. I can't marry you when I am in love with her. My father stepped forward. Get out, both of you. Get out of this venue before I do something I'll regret. Alex and Melissa left together. They walked down the aisle holding hands while 200 guests watched. My wedding guests. People who'd come to celebrate my marriage, watching my fiancé leave with my best friend, the ultimate betrayal set to the soundtrack of my wedding playlist, still playing softly through the venue speakers. I stood there in my $6,000 dress, flowers in my hair, makeup perfect, holding my father's arm because I couldn't stand on my own. The officiant awkwardly said, I think we should cancel the ceremony. Someone laughed, hysterical laughter. I think it was me. My mother started coordinating damage control, telling guests the reception was canceled, directing people to leave, apologizing on my behalf. My bridesmaids surrounded me, one of them. My cousin said, do you want to go? We can get you out of here. I nodded. They walked me out through a side door, took me to the bridal suite where I'd gotten ready hours earlier, full of champagne and happiness. Now it felt like a tomb. I sat on the couch in my wedding dress and stared at nothing. When did you know? My sister asked. She'd been a bridesmaid. She looked devastated. I didn't know. I had no idea. None of us knew. Nobody knew. But someone must have known. Alex and Melissa didn't hide an 8-month affair perfectly. Someone saw them together. Someone noticed signs. They just didn't tell me. Or I didn't listen. Or I was too stupid to see what was right in front of me. The venue coordinator knocked on the door. I am so sorry about what happened. But we need to know about the reception. The caterers are asking if they should still serve food. The bar is set up. The DJ is here. What do you want to do? Cancel it, my mother said. Cancel everything. We'll still have to pay for it. The contract. I don't care. Cancel it. I paid $40,000 for a wedding that didn't happen. My parents paid another $30,000. None of it was refundable. The dress, the flowers, the food, the venue, the DJ, all of it wasted. All of it meaningless now. My phone started blowing up, guests texting to check on me. Friends asking what happened. People who hadn't been at the ceremony hearing about it from people who were. The story was spreading. Did you hear? She got left at the altar. The groom confessed to an affair with the maid of honor. In front of everyone during the ceremony. I became a story, a cautionary tale. The woman who didn't see the signs, who trusted the wrong people, who got humiliated in the most public way possible. Alex texted me later that night. I am sorry. I know that means nothing. But I am sorry. You deserved better. You deserved honesty. I was a coward. I hope someday you can forgive me. Melissa texted too. I never meant to hurt you. I love you. You are my best friend. But I am in love with Alex. I've been in love with him for months. We tried to fight it. We really did, but we couldn't. I am sorry it happened this way. I am sorry for everything. But I can't apologize for loving him. I blocked them both, deleted every photo of them from my phone. Throughout every memory of our friendship, our relationship, our life together, I couldn't look at any of it without feeling sick. My family wanted me to sue them. Emotional distress. Breach of contract. Something. My lawyer said there wasn't much case. You can't sue someone for breaking your heart. The money I'd spent was a gift. Legally. The humiliation, while traumatic, wasn't illegal. I had no recourse except to move on. Move on. As if you can just move on from being left at the altar. From having your fiancé confess to an 8-month affair with your best friend in front of 200 people. From losing your partner and your best friend in the same moment. From becoming a public humiliation, it has been 3 months. Alex and Melissa are together, officially. They posted it on social media cautiously after a few weeks, with a caption about finding love in unexpected places and following your heart even when it is complicated. They got roasted in the comments. People called them horrible. Homewreckers trash, but they're still together, still happy, still in love. I am in therapy learning how to trust again, how to not blame myself for being too stupid to see the signs, how to rebuild a life that was supposed to include them. My therapist says I am making progress. I don't feel like I am. I feel like I am frozen in that moment at the altar. Hearing, I can't, watching my life implode. Everyone tells me I'll find someone better. That this is actually a blessing, better to find out before the marriage than after, that I dodged a bullet. But it doesn't feel like I dodged anything. It feels like I took a bullet straight to the chest, and I am supposed to be grateful. It wasn't my head. I don't know if I'll ever trust anyone again. Don't know if I'll ever believe someone when they say they love me. Don't know if I'll ever plan another wedding without having panic attacks remembering this one. But I am trying. That is all I can do. Keep trying to rebuild from the wreckage of the wedding that never happened and the betrayal that destroyed me.